Yeah, you definitely don't know this. As in,
Really?
I'm guaranteeing it. You don't. There are some accounts, but really, all of this is something that hasn't been shown in the theatre before.
Since the Crown sent me to serve, I've yet to have a good experience with a colonist.
I look forward to changing your opinion.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nikki Novak in the Fandango studio backstage at CinemaCon with William Franklyn-Miller. Hello. How are you?
Very good. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you, too. Your first CinemaCon, your first Vegas.
It is first
Clearly
Vegas.
the accent not from
Nope,
these
evidently
parts.
not from these
So
parts.
your thoughts on Vegas, just to kick things off.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know my opinions of it as of yet. I think I need another few days to sort of soak it all in. But I'm liking it so far. It's crazy. A lot of lights, a lot of cameras, a lot of just
So
like
similar to
everything
London,
going on.
right?
A little bit. It's like London, like miniaturized into like 5 blocks, and then like I don't even know. It's crazy here.
Yeah.
So many people in such a small area as well.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Young Washington.
Thank you. That's
Playing
good. That's good.
a role like that, monumental, obviously. You know, and I love in the trailer, it says your name and it says introducing. So just
Yes,
sort of your thoughts
like
on
that.
and just the scale of playing such a historic figure. There's been a lot of movies about presidents.
Yeah. I mean, this is my first ever sort of lead role ever, really. You know, I've done small bits and bobs here and there before, a few great roles before, but this is my first lead, and so it's a lot of responsibility for me. And I love the introducing sign. I think it's really cool because I'm a newcomer on the block, but hopefully here to stay.
The
which is
fam
cool.
must have freaked out when they saw
Oh,
that.
they did. They did. They loved it. They really, really loved it. More so when I first got the part as well. They were jumping.
I bet.
But yeah, it's an amazing film. It's really got everything you could want as an actor as well. When I first read the script, I just loved how gritty it was as well. It wasn't too, La La Land, I suppose, over bits and bobs. So yeah, it was great. It's got a bit of everything: horse riding, using muskets in the woods, these amazing costumes, a unique accent as well, which is something I'm sure we'll talk about later. But yeah, it was fun. It was like the dream role.
Let's talk about it now, because that's
There
a
we
tough
are.
thing.
Yeah.
It really just, obviously, getting into the mindset of historical figure. It's also hard to even get your head around in 2026, like the founding father, the first president, like sort of the meaning of that. But maybe you could start by actually giving us some background into, what period of his life is this film set in?
Yeah.
Why was it important to see that time of his life?
Yeah. Well, it's from the age ranges to about 20. There's some earlier flashbacks as well, so it shows him when he's a small child, maybe 9, 10, 11. But then, the majority of the film is from around the ages of 20, 21, 22, I think, towards the end of the film. But yeah, this is a period of George's life that isn't really covered. I think
Right.
we all know him as the dollar bill and first president of the United States, but nobody really knows what led him to that point, what inspired him, what were his inspirations, so to speak. And so I think this film really dives into really the birth of his ambition, really. And so, not to give too many spoilers away, I could easily ramble on about why that is.
Go right ahead.
But really, you're seeing the birth of this leader, and you're learning along the way. But also, you really learn that he is just a regular, aside from the major battles and huge decisions and leadership to make, he is just a 21-year-old man, and he's growing and he's learning all these things in real time. So,
and this sounds like between the horse riding and everything you're talking about and the history of it all, but he's also just a person.
yes.
What was the hook for you in sort of finding him? Was it the voice? Was it the look? Was it his ambition? Like, what made him special, and what did you hook into in terms of like what made him that person that ended up being this icon?
Yeah, I mean, I really lent into the fact that he was genuinely a 20, 21-year-old, and a lot of the things that he ended up, as in like the things that fell into his lap, he never really, he chased it to a certain extent. He was always, obsessed with society and trying to better himself as a person. But when it came to leadership, everything really fell into his lap, and so he had to take it and really run with it. And so in a way, I did a bunch of research on George and his younger years, but there's more so a lot more research in his older years. And so for the younger ones, really a lot of it was just myself and bringing myself to the character.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has been dropped in here into a battlefield, and what's he going to do? How's he going to command his men? And so a lot of that was really just finding it in the moment, so to speak.
Can you sort of tease, is there something that people who think they know his story are going to be surprised to find out.
Yeah, you definitely
really
don't know this. As in,
Really?
I'm guaranteeing it. You don't. There are some accounts, but really, all of this is something that hasn't been shown in the theatre before, in the cinema before. And so I think it's really important when you go see it. And yeah, I mean, it just shows this birth of this hunger and this determination from this young man. To a certain extent, goes overboard, and really, the film isn't about success. The success came later in life for George, but really earlier on, it's about failure and how he deals with those failures to prepare himself as the man we know and love in the future. So yeah, I think that's what people aren't going to expect, but it's definitely not something you're familiar with.
I've always found it interesting when actors play historical figures or somebody that we know, because you obviously have to do research. And so you're reading at one point or you're watching things. At what point does the line cross where it becomes you? Like, how do you infuse it? And let's talk about the accent and doing all the things that you had to do.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think it really depends on what character you're playing, but I think there's always a little bit of you that comes to each role. Obviously, for a biopic and an epic, and this role in particular, I think a little bit less of you comes in. I'd say maybe 40, 60. I don't know. It'd be interesting to really think about it. But I think really it purely depends on how much you can find online about the character and what he did and stuff. But I think from a 21-year-old perspective, I think I brought that in, and it's the mentality of a 21-year-old. That was quite easy for me to bring in because I was 21 at the time of filming as well. But yeah, and the accent helped a ton as well. I think learning it, which was really, really difficult. It's a mixture. There's a TV series that was heavily inspired called John Adams, which apparently was one of the only TV shows that really got the accent quite right. I mean, there's no real account, so it is up for interpretation. But yeah, we watched a lot of John Adams to prepare, and it's a mixture of, I'd say, Irish, Old English, and American. And so it's a weird one, but really, even performing that alone helps you get into the character and really hooks you.
And was there a pair of boots, a pair of pants? What was the thing that you put on and looked in the mirror?
It's got to be the hat. The hat was the hat was the final bit after the wig. Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of putting on this costume and getting the wigs done and all that sort of stuff. But when you put the hat on, that was like the final touch. That was the perfect bit. And the second you put it on and you could feel it was never going to fall off, you were like, yeah, I'm ready.
I'm just wondering if on the call sheet it said icons only, because we've got Ben Kingsley, Andy Serkis, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I could tell you the story. I booked the job and we were doing about 3 weeks of prep. And the producer came up to me and went, by the way, we've just got some names that we're going to attach to the project. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm really excited. Thinking there'd be people that maybe I hadn't heard of, but maybe I had heard of, but definitely not. We're talking Sir Ben Kingsley, Andy Serkis, Mary Louise Parker, Kelsey Grammer. And so once I found out, I was like, well, we hadn't even filmed a scene yet, but that added so much weight onto my shoulders, but I was so excited as well. It was more, me trying to prove to them why this is right. Which was great. So it gave me a lot more determination to really do well in the film, which was good. But they are amazing people.
I interviewed Sir Ben Kingsley once.
Did you?
And I was so beyond nervous. I don't really get nervous for interviews, but that was one because his presence when he walks in is unlike, I think, anybody I've ever met.
Tell me about it. I think I felt the exact same thing, even within the scenes with him. But it actually benefited my scenes because I'm nervous to speak to him. He's a higher rank than me. I've failed him a few times. I can't spoil that anyway. But yeah, I mean, I used that nervousness with Ben to bring out more of the character, which was great.
And so for people who aren't necessarily history buffs and like a little romance, do we have a little romance in this?
Of course.
Okay,
we've got a little bit of that in it, which
Yeah.
is great. Originally, there was a woman that was called Sally Carey that he, had or may not had relations with in the past. But she came from a higher class than George. George was born into a more middle-class family. But his half-brother Lawrence could access those areas of life because of his military background. And so, yeah, there's a little romance in there, so I think people are going to like it. It's a very, I'd say, Titanic style in a way.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah, we love Titanic. So.
I think it's, by the way, very funny that I'm Canadian and you're British. There's no Americans in this interview.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It
So
is.
we're talking about the number one American.
Okay, just to finish things off, just some fun questions for you. When you go to the movies as a movie fan, do you have a spot you like to sit? Do you have like a ritual? Like, I got to be in the middle, I got to be in the back. What do you like to snack on? Is there anything sort of quintessentially British that you like?
Quintessentially British.
Or American that when you go to the
not
theater?
really. I like salty popcorn. I think sweet is too much. I think that says a lot about someone. I don't know what it says about someone, but I think it says a lot about And then where to sit? That's a great question. I prefer to be at the back. You know, I think if you're too close, the screen's sort of like you're just like looking up and it's a bit warped. And then if you're in the middle, I don't know. I like being at the back and being able to see what everyone's doing and how people are reacting to it as well. I think it's interesting. I just watched Hamnet recently, and I could see everyone in the theatre bawling their eyes out. And then I decided it was probably time to do the same, so I started crying as well.
And then everybody on the screen in the theater was also bawling their eyes
yeah,
out in the
exactly.
Shakespeare
So it was
theater,
it was a cry fest. But yeah, at the back.
So this is coming out 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
250th anniversary of America. How will you be celebrating?
I'll be celebrating by
4th?
watching the film 100%. I'll be in England, but I'll still be celebrating July 4th, that's for sure. And yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. What a time to release it as well. I don't think there'd be a more perfect time.
And there's not a more perfect name to be playing, Young Washington, because you, sir, have 2 president names in your name.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a
that's
little
true.
pop quiz to finish things off. Can you name how many U.S. presidents had the name William and how many had the name Franklin? Start with William.
Are
you guessing?
I would have no clue. I'm going to say, I'll say 3 for William, and then was Franklin the next one?
Franklin was the next one.
There's at least one. So I'm going to say 3 and 1.
Ding, ding, ding on the second one, and
Ding,
very
ding, ding
close on the
second,
first
very
one.
close on the
4
first.
Williams, but you aced it.
Okay, that's like 90%. That's 90%.
Yeah,
I'll take
you
that.
did amazing.
That was great.
And then last, why should people go see this in a theater? I got chills watching the trailer.
Yep.
The word epic is used. It feels
is.
epic.
It feels
I'm
it.
so psyched to see this movie.
Yeah.
You got me hooked in the trailer, but why should people go see this in the big
I think
screen?
for the same reason. I think this film is going to shock a lot of people. I think this is a side of George that nobody knows, something that's really interesting to see as well. And I think for a young audience as well as families, I think this really shows how no matter what age you are, you can always be inspired and you can always lead if you trust in yourself, find courage. And this is how George Washington found his courage. So, yeah.